Welcome, everyone, to Wednesday Night is Overbooked. We're not as overbooked as we usually are. We're a triple threat this week instead of a fatal four-way. Ego is out in New Orleans for work.
And they don't have internet in New Orleans.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Well, it's run by Democrats, so that would explain that.
Well,
Oh, they paid for broadband, billions of dollars.
right.
Yeah.
Speaking of my lovely cohorts here, to my stage right tonight is our legal expert. It is Bradley Burnett, the Duke Devil, 95, which your Duke Blue Devils seem to be doing rather well this year again.
Not actually again, like really well. Despite what everyone thinks, we have not won a championship in 10 years.
Wow.
So we're still dancing. And unfortunately, given the current state of college basketball, I literally know only 3 players on the team by name.
Good. Fun.
Personally, I hate Duke because they keep giving the Giants crappy quarterbacks.
We only gave them one.
2.
Who was the other one?
Dave
Daniel
Brown
Jones?
and Daniel Jones.
I thought it was. Oh, Dave. Oh, I forgot about him.
You forgot about Dave Brown?
I don't remember much about college football at Duke. I can still name the 92 team.
Apparently, the Valley Renegade will be in shock to hear that because he's from New Orleans and runs a very successful channel out of Louisiana. So
He's probably using a VPN or something.
maybe, possibly. And at the bottom, the Matt of 1,000 answers, who keeps it down. That's why he's down.
I am the root that holds up the tree.
There you go. We have the unbearable 73. Matt, how are you, sir?
Doing okay. Living here in the bunghole of the United States called New Jersey. Doing best as we can.
Gotcha. We've also, as I just said, we had Thomas Preston in the chat. Also, we have our Wrench of Wrenches here checking the chat out. Jacob Ironside, hello, sir. And we got thank you for everyone being here. Just to let you know, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe, share the stream. I'm not going to go to all the wrestling references. It's shameless, but these are ways that you can support the channel. Another way you can support the channel is Mixed Tees and that wonderful Mixed Tees Joker Voice merch store with a variety of lovely items for you to purchase. Coffee mugs, 2 different types of t-shirts, and of course a mouse pad as well. Oh, and Jacob, you are so kind, even dropping in Ego's link into the chat. You are wonderful, sir. But yes, definitely check out Mixed Tees and really good guys over there. Also, they are the guys in charge of the Popcast. So a lovely channel as well. Okay, so to the news this week. First off, there's some silly news and some exciting news. I'm going to go right here real quick. I'm going to share this screen. Turns out we have a dual champion down in NXT, and someone has decided to say, oh, well, she's not the first, as someone says here, as Mandy Rose. Yeah, it's pretty pathetic, isn't it? Thanks for the recognition, though. Appreciate you. And this guy says, I like when WWE tries to pretend that their own history doesn't exist or that we're all stupid or something. Mandy Rose was the first women's double champion. Don't let them fool you. And that's no knock on Steph. She's great, but she's not the first. Yes, she is the first. because what happened, and someone decides to. I love when people get fact checked here. There's this. When Mandy Rose won the NXT UK title, this was not to become the NXT UK champion as well. This was a unification match. So, in other words, this did not. There was no NXT UK at this point. So, I just love how it's kind of talking to a Disney Star Wars fan.
Well, I also on another point go back to that guy's original post. I want to point something out.
Okay.
Where he says, "Get going." The way he started. Okay, I like when WWE tries to pretend their own history doesn't exist. Yes, that's pro wrestling. What happened 6 months ago gets flushed down the memory hole, guys. Please.
Well, yes, and definitely within the old regime where wrestlers had the memories of a goldfish, they did not remember stuff that happened last week. So,
well, that even over regime too. It's like pro wrestling is once your feud is over, it goes into the forgotten history thing. Like it's just gone.
Also, don't forget, like that
Hello,
newbie
Kai.
Ric Flair when he joined WWE, he was brand new on the scene, hadn't been anywhere at all before, right?
Right.
I mean, it's like it's just crazy. People don't get wrestling; they just don't get it. Like you know, it just drives me crazy when I see people actually type something like that.
Right. Well, there's folks who wanted to engage, they want to get the clicks, and like I said, it kind of gets to the point to where it's like talking to a Disney Star Wars fan because we don't know
But
how well that.
Like Matt was saying, it's like comic books. I'm like, no one's really ever dead.
And then we
I mean,
got
so far, I think
Except for
everyone's
Triple
Uncle
H, who recovered from death.
right.
Oh, that's true.
And then we have
This is
this.
interesting.
We have this, the newest inductee into the Hall of Fame, which will be joining Michelle McCool and Triple H and Lex Luger, the natural disasters, typhoon and earthquake. Tag team of big men from back in the, I guess, the golden era. Not my favorite tag team, but you know
what that means.
what
The Shockmaster made the WWE Hall of Fame.
Well, technically, yes, you're right.
Wait, which one was the Shockmaster? I forget.
Tugboat. Typhoon.
Okay.
If I were them, I would have him come out breaking through a door and falling.
Hilarious.
They would pay money. They would get the biggest. They would get a pop.
Disney would sue their ass at this point. Disney would sue their ass.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, some fun thing, I guess. I guess it's fun. The WWE for a long time had kind of abandoned this, but they decided to bring it back, and that is the Slammy Awards.
When's the last time we had the Slammies?
The Triple H. No, he is not going to induct himself into the Hall of Fame. It'll probably be Shawn Michaels, but it was announced at a WWE headquarters. Shawn Michaels and Mark Calloway did the honors. But the Slammies have not been a thing for quite some time. They came back last year, but this year they did a fan. This is voted by the fans.
Oh my God.
Now, there are some categories that are absolutely ridiculous and categories that make absolutely no sense in the world. Now, I am not going to go over all dozen categories here because that's ridiculous. But there is one category called the OMG moment, and that's been a common thing. And
now, you all know what my OMG moment would be for that list.
And yes, and yes, Thomas, the Slammy statue is still the same. Now, there was a dozen nominees for OMG moment of the year. One of them was John Cena turning heel. The other 11 don't count. That's not that.
Did they just like go through each month and pick one for each month? Because a dozen is a lot of OMG moments.
Nothing could be as glorious as Sheik Bronson Reed tsunami slamming the big Strowman through a car.
That was on the list, but Cena turning heel, that's a pretty big one. I'm just saying. Now there was also another category called the WTF moment of the year, and I'm like, isn't that kind of the same as in OMG moment?
Could be.
I'm just saying.
This is more like a what as opposed to oh my god. Is what is
yeah.
But wait, how what the
a couple of these
there seems
a couple of these nominees
There's
is a Tama Tonga going yeah.
The Wyatt 6 is also on here again.
Right. Exactly. Makes no sense.
Is this like the People's Choice Award for?
I wouldn't count Cena as necessarily losing that match. I'm just saying.
Right.
You know, we can't see the results of that match.
Now there's also they had a category 10 entrances, the most memorable entrance of the year, and there was one glaring snub, which was clearly the entrance of the year. It was early on in the year. Well, it was the time frame was Mania till now, so WrestleMania 40 till now. Now, I could understand if they forgot that this day happened, but the entrance of Jey Uso in Lyon, France at Backlash.
Oh God.
I'm just saying that was the entrance of the year. The lights going down, all the flashlights going that was something special. I got to give the crowd props in Lyon, France. We had
I give nothing French any props.
What happened in France stays in France.
Okay. Now, they did have the category Best Tag Team of the Year. 10 nominees and one snub. That snub is Nathan Frazier and Axiom down in NXT, who are clearly the best tag team under the WWE banner, being the NXT Tag Team champions.
I do have a serious point here with this one. So the Awesome Truth was in there, right? Now, I like them together. I like those two together in the mid card. They're fun. They have a mid card act that's entertaining. You know what I mean? They work well off each other. So they go and heel turn the Miz, and then what? Nothing with it. Like it's a dead storyline.
Yeah,
like you know. So.
Now
that's my own point. But yeah, there's some really bad storytelling there. You know.
Can I just play the role of our missing compatriot tonight and say that clearly the winner of this category will be Jade Cargill, who is accompanied by Bianca Belair.
Right, because when I think of when I think of a match involving Jade Cargill, one word comes to mind.
Boring.
That being said,
I was going to say excellence of misexecution,
which should have been on one of those lists, which is hard, like raffle stomping Naomi.
That could have been an OMG moment, but
no, that would have been like, what the F are you doing moment.
Right. Now, there was a category specifically for NXT, and that was NXT Superstar of the Year, with the nominees were Oba, well deserved, Roxanne Perez, Trick Williams, Ethan Page, Julia, and Kalani Jordan. I'm like, where's Stephanie?
Even if she's there, there's only one answer to that question.
Stephanie.
Obafemi.
Stephanie.
Obafemi.
Stephanie. Sorry.
Stephanie will be this year maybe, but Obafemi. I mean, if they mess it up, which they likely could, they could mess it up. But if not, Obafemi is the next big thing for the next 20 years.
We agree.
You know, they need to get the Undertaker to come back as a manager to be his pallbearer, basically.
No.
Training.
No.
Give him the rub. Have the Undertaker showing him the training. You know,
he already did the other night in what was it in Roadblock.
Oh yeah, he was there standing there, but like they could do more appearances where like when Femi gets called, he goes, "I got to be prepared." Go to the gym, worked out with him for a while. You know?
Eric, you're wrong. Jade has sucked from day one.
She was horrible in AEW,
and she's horrible now.
She was great mint in box, but as soon as you take the action figure out of the box, it loses complete value.
Which is sad because she's legitimately a big athletic woman.
And we will discuss this later on because it's part of one of my rants. But the last category, which was actually a good category, and probably the one where I actually had to think on this, breakout star of the year, and the nominees were Braun Breaker, Lyra Valkyria, Penta, Oba, Julia, Tiffany Stratton, Jacob 5-2, Chelsea Green, and Stephanie Vaquer. So Stephanie Vaquer is in your breakout star of the year, but not in your NXT. Make that make sense.
Were these fan nominated?
Yes,
I have no idea.
Clearly,
I have no idea. Now,
here's the thing, though. Just on this, I'm not certain if I feel like some of these should not necessarily be included because for instance, I would not see Penta as a breakout star because he was a star already. When I think breakout star,
WWE,
I understand, but even still, it's like Obafemi or Braun Breaker. I would see as a breakout star because they're pretty much
maybe,
right, But Penta came in with a fan base. It was like when Jericho came in '99 or 2000.
Right. Now I could say, I mean, take someone like I went with Stratton because in the time frame they have, she's racked up 2 already accolades that would go on your Hall of Fame resume. She's a Money in the Bank, the winner, and she's a top champion. So that's where I went with that. Some folks, and there's really not a wrong answer here because someone said Jacob, and I'm like, you can't argue with that because a lot of this talent here, with the exception of Penta, I mean, they were kind of all grown and Chelsea as well. Were kind of grown within the WWE, have gone through NXT. Jacob literally came out of nowhere. I mean, unless you were a fan of Major League Wrestling, you have no idea who Jacob is. So,
yeah, but when you get wrestlers like that, a lot of times people like us who know those guys and are fans of them will give the buzz to the WWE.
Right. The mouth, right? Correct.
Like if you're in a crowd and like let's say I know who Jacob Fatu is, and the dude next to me is some random like, who the hell is that? And I'm like, that's Jacob Fatu from blah blah blah. Go YouTube, watch him put 6 guys to a table with a chainsaw or whatever. You know, I mean, like whatever the move was. You know what I'm saying? Like we hype the buzz around these guys, and wrestling buzz is infectious among the fans. You know, it's like the crowd chanting or whatever. You know, it's like it just people love getting into it with each other.
6 tables with a chainsaw.
I something off the top of my head, you know.
This is why we love him, folks. This is why we love him. Speaking of grotesqueness,
I'm ready for you, Joker. I'm ready for you.
I feel like this is going to be an attack on AEW.
There's going to be, we got issues, folks. We got issues. And yes, last week kind of encapsulated the episode of Dynamite, episode of SmackDown, kind of just highlighted problems with both companies. Now, first off, everyone knows that I have been watching AEW. I wouldn't call myself a fan of it yet, but I want it to do well because it's better for the overall professional wrestling industry if there is viable competition, because competition just makes everyone have to do better. So, I think we all agree on that. But this episode of Dynamite last week, it started off their opening match. Will Ospreay versus AR Fox. Who?
Well,
I know Will Ospreay.
If you watch enough indie,
okay,
you know who AR Fox is.
Okay, I get that. And again, but why is this match happening?
If I had to guess,
it's a match. Okay, it's a match just to have a match. That's what it is. And then we'll cut some promo about something that he's entering the Owen Hart Classic tournament, which is like 2 months away still.
So I agree with you. That's a flaw of AEW, and they do these matches that have no storyline. Okay. AR Fox, for those of you who wonder who he is, if you remember Lucha Underground, he was Dante Fox or something like that. Which, if you had your basic cables in your basic cable package, it was shown on the El Rey network. Yeah. I think you can get it on YouTube now. If I recall correctly, speaking specifically to this, AR Fox is getting ready to retire, so he's taking bigger gigs to put guys over now to get build up bank and pass it along.
Right, and he's also on the Ring of Honor, which nobody will watches.
Yeah. Well, no one. Yeah.
No,
I agree with you. The Ring of Honor basically is stuck in their old TV contracts until the end, sometime this year. Yeah. And then they expire, and then it can incorporate into the AEW contract.
Oh, joy. Okay. Then, right after that, we had a fatal four-way for the number one contender for the International Championship, currently held by Kenny Omega. The winner was Ricochet and newcomer to AEW, Speedball Mike Bailey, which you would know from Total Non-Stop Action Wrestling. Fine professional wrestler. Both of these guys are good in ring. My problem is this. This will be the number one contender for the International Championship. This will be a triple threat match at AEW Dynasty in wow, wow. One of a few for you and the
Ring of Honor is a niche product right now. I mean, it's a niche product.
Right. It's a niche of a niche product is what it is. So the problem with this is if you follow AEW, you know where this is going to end. These two are getting fed to Kenny Omega at Dynasty because right after what was it? Revolution, right?
Yeah.
Where Kenny beat
Takeshita.
Now, so we know, and like right after that, AEW announces that they're going to merge the international and the continental title, which made something at World's End in December when you had an image when Kazuchika Okada won the Continental Classic tournament again to retain his Continental Classic Championship. And out comes Kenny Omega to present him the belt. And right between them, as the framing, is a image of All In, which will be in Texas this year, in July. So the end goal is going to be Omega Okada at All In to merge the titles. Matt, is my logic wrong in anything there?
I'd say 99% correct. I don't know if they're going to if Kenny's going to win it out, but
no. I didn't say to win, but the goal is Omega Okada at All In.
Now I am surprised that they didn't go the other angle and have Kenny take the title from Okada, and then have to keep the other one on Takeshita, because Takeshita is a legit like good in ring performer.
But this is part of the problem with Tony Khan. Tony Khan loves New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, that in itself is not a bad thing. But Omega and Okada have had storied battles in New Japan.
That's why they're doing it. I think it's a critical problem is AEW has storyline issues outside of Timeless Tony Storm versus Mariah May, which
and we'll get to that in just a second.
Concluded right now. Mariah May's contract is basically up this year.
She is not going anywhere.
We hope not. The storyline with Swerve Strickland and Hangman was pretty good. That was brutally good.
So my next issue is your main event for Dynamite last week. Chris Statlander against Megan Bayne.
Oh,
why?
I can't.
So this was Tony Khan saying that he's listening to the fans, because at Revolution, a lot of fans, like Matt was saying last week, that Tony Storm and the Mariah May should have been probably the main event, as opposed to Copeland and Moxley.
Yeah,
it was a better story, better match.
It was an incredible match,
because then they decided to put Moxley and Cope, which I need some Cope after watching this thing. They had their match, their title match, which hopefully blows off this feud, thank God. And this was part.
Okay, go on, sorry.
There was part. Now the match was okay. It was a better match in ring than their match at Revolution. Than their match at Revolution. Then Cope introduces Spike. We have seen Spike before on AEW TV. It's basically a 2x4, which has railroad ties that have been railroad spikes, and it's the weapon. Now, the first two times Cope does the standard, work swing. Spike then gets put onto the mat, and
oh God, I saw this.
Cope hit a suplex, and Cope's back went into Spike. Moxley's back.
Yeah.
And we have this.
Now, my biggest criticism of this spot was this is a pay-per-view spot, not a TV spot.
Correct. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to keep that up there for much longer. Actually, let me answer this. The answer is, of course, but Tony Khan can match any offer that WWE makes, and this goes into more of the issues. But I would definitely be interested in the Mariah May if I'm Paul Levesque. Now, this spot on TV, their regular TV, and yes, because they actually had to stop the match. The match actually stopped, and they were doing filler stuff on the outside because the referee was trying to pull this thing out of Moxley's back, and you could see skin.
Well, they were trying to pull it out without ripping his back open.
Right. I get that.
Did no one think this would happen?
And okay, so now, let JB say his piece first before, because we're going to go around on this one.
No, there's nothing to go around on. I have no problem with the violence. I'm fine with that.
Oh, they were cool. Okay, here it is.
But I mean, yes, there's a lot of muscle and fat in your back, but that is dangerously close to some vital stuff back there, like
your spine.
Like your spine, exactly. And I had discussed this with Ego, and I said, from a medical standpoint, how big of a shoe did Moxley have? And he was like, big. That's a big. He's lucky on that one. I just don't like when it's violence for violence sake, and it's just gratuitous. I mean, I am not opposed to blood in matches. I am not opposed to violence in matches. I mean, the best match for WWE last year was a bloody match. It was Hell in a Cell.
Yep.
A bloody match.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when it's just for shock effect, this is where I have a problem. And I want to hear Brad's thought first, and then Matt, your thought.
I'll be real quick because I swear we've had this conversation before where, obviously I don't have a problem. I used to watch ECW stuff back in the day, but like you're saying, it's like, this is not a TV show thing. You save this for, I hate this, it's going to sound crass, the big money shot.
Right.
That's what it is. At the same time, this is actually like, I don't even need to be a doctor to know this is effing dangerous. I mean, the fact that they had to be careful pulling it out. I know Mox puts himself through a whole bunch of shit. He would have been ECW way back in the day.
Right.
He would have, and he still does. He was doing that a long time ago. But this is freaking dangerous, man. And, for someone who went through so much already, who's been injured so many times, and, you got to think, what is he in his 40s now? Still got a wife and kid. You gotta at least be mindful. And even, the worst part is, Edge, I feel like Edge is also reaching for stuff too at this point. I'm like, well, you're freaking Edge. You don't need to be Cope. Just be Adam Copeland. And
well,
be yourself.
Remember though, Edge was always into the violence with TLC, with that crazy match with the Undertaker. So
yeah, but that was 20 years ago, 25 years ago. He evolved to a different person, and now he's going back to. I feel like he's trying to recapture his youth. He's as old as us, damn near, if not older.
Yeah.
Okay, Matt.
So I would say the age thing is a different argument. Okay.
Right. Correct.
Just keep that separate. Okay. But these guys in their 50s are in better shape than I was in my 20s.
Fair
point.
And also on the danger thing, I need to point this out with the obviously Spike was gimmicked, flat top.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was. It was anytime you see that spot, because stage magicians do that spot dozens of times per week with the spike beds, with the spike balls and whatever, where they lay on them, they roll on them. I watch a lot of magic shows. Okay. That issue with spikes, as long as the weight's divided and the points not quite as like piercing, it will penetrate your skin, but won't be able to penetrate your muscle.
Let's hope so, because that thing was hooked in.
It got stuck in his skin because it got below the dermis, but it couldn't penetrate his muscles because it was gimmicked. And stage magicians do, like I said, this is a known stage magician thing with these spikes. So.
Okay, I'll believe you on this, because I thought the spot was gratuitous. And this is
I thought it was gratuitous because it was on regular TV and not the end of a feud. Like a spot like that needs to be on a pay-per-view at the end of a brutal match like a Hell in a Cell, whatever. And not on your TV show where next week Cope and Mox are going to be back fighting someone else. You know what I mean?
It cheapens it.
Yeah,
I got you.
You can't cheapen these things. You know, and that's a big thing. AEW's problem is their storylines, and some of this is the contract. Like, because I know.
Okay, and I'm about to hit this too, because one of the biggest problems, because Tony Khan, for lack of a better term, is a mark, is what he is.
Yeah.
He is an absolute mark with a big bank account, and he wants to be these guys' friends. So when he signs them, depending on who you are and the name you had somewhere else, you're going to get paid a lot of the money, and you're going to be given creative control.
Yeah, pretty much. He lets most of the wrestlers,
which is why at Revolution, it was Christian Cage who came in and took the loss because Cope would not take a loss.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest problem within AEW is you've got your other top women's champion, Mercedes Moné. She has complete creative control to the point to where she books her opponents and her matches for everything.
This is like the Click back in the day.
Oh, it's worse. This is worse.
Well, it's worse because Mercedes is stupid.
And
no, I want to be fair about this. I know what you're going to say, but let me just get a little point in first.
Okay.
She's actually trying to put people over. She's just stupid. Like it's like if you watch when she brought she had the match with Stephanie Wakur, right? She wanted to put Stephanie over in that match. Clearly, she had follow-up matches with other wrestlers. She wants to be she has the right idea, but she's stupid and can't do it right. You know,
I disagree. I think she books herself to win and to collect titles, which I could understand because of where she worked previously. I would be upset too if I won a title and within a month just had to hand it back to Charlotte. I would get tired of those.
David, we agree in a sense. Like, what I'm saying is what she's doing, the way she is the stupid, meaning that she thinks she's being smart about it when she's actually really stupid. But inside, she wants to put people over and whatever. But
I don't believe she does.
It's like if you're in, I hate saying this, but like I have relative soldiers, and they don't want to. There's always that one dumb guy in your platoon who stands up too soon, doesn't react fast enough when they're under fire and whatever, and they're just freaking stupid. You know what I mean? And they get killed. Like she's that. She's stupid. You know?
I will say this because I would say that if Mercedes wants to put people over, what new star has she made in about the year that she's been there?
Well, no, because she's stupid. Like she wants to do the right thing, but she doesn't know how to do it. She's stupid.
I think she wants.
I'm curious about the use of quotations.
Right, exactly. Your work conference in New Orleans. What kind of work are you doing there, sir? Especially at New Orleans is Eastern time zone.
No, I think it's Central actually.
Central. So you're at.
I think it's Central.
So 20 till 10 over there. Okay. Because this also is the problem with AEW. AEW doesn't know how to make new stars. One person knew how to make a star. Tony Storm did. And because the Mariah May is in a much better spot coming out of this feud with Tony than she was going in. Tony Storm understands how to make a star.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
These are just some of the ongoing concerns. And basically, but my biggest problem with AEW is AEW is allergic to telling stories because Tony Khan books for himself. This is part of the problem. Now, the other side, we have WWE, which we have been critical of here as well. But WWE, I think it's safe to say, while they can do good stories, they haven't been for some time because WWE has gotten comfortable. And that is my biggest contention right there. They have gotten very, oh, thank you, Kai. Well done, sir. Well done, sir. Yes. Kai, just for that, sir, I'm going to give you a little. And frankly, I don't know which company is worse. The company that's allergic to telling stories and has to resort to gory spots on their regular TV to get a pop, or one company that's gotten so comfortable that they're telling bad stories and they don't care because they know that you're going to spend $400 to sit in the nosebleeds just so you can go eat. I mean, which is worse at this point?
Well, it's even worse for AEW because their ratings are on the uptick for the past 2 months. They're getting some fans.
No, they haven't been.
Oh yeah, they are. Everyone's talking about it.
Okay, since 2023, their total viewership is down 32%. They're in the key demo of 18 to 49. They're down 40%. Tell me, in the last year, when AEW has cleared 800,000.
They might never because of the cable networks they're on are losing subscribers.
They were.
Yeah,
they used to be in the millions.
Yeah, that's a given.
And who was there?
Oh, that Punk was there. Cody was there.
Okay.
Yeah, but they'll never hit those ratings again because the network won't get those ratings again. TNT and TBS are on their way out.
So it's not the product and the fan base.
It's a combination of both. For the last 6 to 8 weeks, the rating for both the shows have been ticking upwards. So there's an audience trickling back in, and the problem is, like, you have an audience trickling back in, but you're giving them shit product, so they're not. They're going to trickle right back out.
So, yes, sir.
I saw your title for your video this morning, and I didn't get to watch it till later tonight. But as soon as I saw it, I what you're saying is sort of like what I'm thinking. I'm like, we are 3 weeks away from WrestleMania, and
3.5 weeks.
I don't feel the excitement that we had last year.
Now,
I don't feel that the storylines have gelled.
Now, granted,
I don't feel a sense of urgency.
Now, granted, last year, the SmackDown after the Rumble, someone threw the monkey wrench into the whole thing and created this chaos that we're changing stuff on the fly here. Plus, you had massive injuries, so you had to do a lot of reshuffling really quick. But I want to go over just a few things that really pissed me off about SmackDown, because SmackDown was offensively bad. You had your opening match, which was a tag match with Damian Priest and Jimmy Uso versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Drew McIntyre. Now, this obviously is doing this for the Drew McIntyre Damian Priest feud.
Why?
I have no issue with these two guys. These two guys will put on a good match. We've seen them put on a good match.
Why
But
Shinsuke and Jimmy?
okay, and if I never see Shinsuke again on my TV, I'll be fine with it. But my problem is, why is Jimmy here? Because the previous week he was in a segment where he's basically challenging LA Knight for a US title match at Mania. Now they seem to have dropped that storyline just really quick and added Jimmy where he should be. Because also last Monday on Mania, we had the botch saw around the world where Jay does a rope dive, catches himself, and almost hits his head on the apron in a match against. Yeah, it was not good. And then in this match, this week, he does another like slip and fall, almost a botch again. Now,
Next WWE Heavyweight Champion.
well, here's the thing, and this is, believe me, the good thing that when WWE does their stuff right, they get it right because they've got so many online accounts that they're catching all the and pulling all the flack, and that botch really did not look good 4.5 weeks out going into Mania. But so they brought back. Yes. So last week in a backstage segment, you had Jimmy and Jay, and Jay's in his head, and he's like, "I don't think I can beat Gunther," and Jimmy's like, "You can't. Not like this. You botching this stuff that you've been doing for 15 years. I need day one, Jay Uso back. I need the right hand man, Uso back. Back when Jay was pissed off basically all the time because of Roman Reigns and that dynamic with Sami Zayn and the whatnot. And I'm like, okay, we're getting somewhere here. Jimmy walks around the bend. There's Gunther. He challenges him to a match next week on Raw. Slaps the shit out of him. I mean, and I'm like, okay, this needs to become personal now. Jimmy needs to get the beating of his life to get this in. And then follow it up the next week, beat up their dad. Gunther needs to. This is what Gunther. This will get
Run him over with a car.
Yeah, Gunther runs him over with a car, a German car,
maybe
a BMW.
Yeah. And they go to the one and goes, when you run over the car, do it the right way with the right car.
Right.
Shield BMW.
Yeah.
Then we had a Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu match. It's always good. Always good to see Jacob. Always good to see Jacob in action. Braun Strowman, not so much. But the winner of this match became the number one contender for the United States title to LA Knight, and we get a DQ. Strowman wins. Strowman's going to face LA Knight next week. I guarantee Jacob's going to be pissed. Is going to interject, and this is going to end up being yet another triple threat.
Oh, good. We need more.
Yeah, we need more of those.
We need triple threats. We need 9 guys in the ring, each having triple threats at the same time.
I think a quadruple threat. 12 people in the ring.
And
But
then,
it's not a battle royal.
and then we had this side-by-side interview, Tiffany and Charlotte. Now, this made it very evident that Tiffany is still very new at this. And she's been in this for like 4 years. Charlotte's been in for a decade and a half, and it showed. Tiffany's trying to stay on script, and Charlotte is just seeing an opportunity and just ad-libbing and would not let her talk. Made Tiffany look like an absolute geek. Now
it kind of reminded me of when one of the first times that Rock and Cena faced off. And remember, Rock was so out of practice, he had his notes written on his arm or something.
Yep.
And Cena called him on it.
Yeah.
I mean,
now
that kind of level of, oh, you just got owned.
If this is the direction that they want to go with this, where Charlotte walks out of Mania with championship number 15, just to drop it back to Tiffany 3 weeks later in St. Louis at Backlash. This is dumb. This is dumb. This is not building a new star in Tiffany Stratton. Big moment, big stage, but Charlotte did lose her last Mania match in a very good match with Rhea. Oh, and then there's still more. There's still more. I know. There was a tag team division match. Who cares about the tag teams in WWE? Who cares? Really? At least SmackDown's trying to do something. It's just not interesting. You then had a Jade Cargill versus Liv Morgan match because Liv Morgan interrupted Jade when she was doing an interview talking about how Naomi was so mean to her, blah, blah, blah. I don't fucking...
Seriously, no one cares.
Waiting for the chat to come up.
So...
Jade, why? She's supposedly been working in in training. Why?
Didn't show because Jade still looks like shit in the ring. She can't sell.
But what's the point of putting out with Liv? Because it's, I mean, they're making us tired of Liv. That's what I feel.
I'm actually not tired of Liv because I see the improvement that where Liv started at and where she is now.
That's not what I mean. Like I want Liv to actually have productive storylines for her, not just be runovers for Jade and for Rhea and whatever.
Well, Liv pinned Jade for the first time in two years. Oh my gosh, that's such a big deal. Okay, that means that you're protected, Jade. You've been overly protected because you got the look and you pose. And thank God for Liv in this match because Jade looked awful, absolutely awful. Like I said, she can't sell, she can't bump. I don't know what she's been doing, but that interview she had with Kathy Ellie. What? Oh, wow.
Maybe they'll just.
Oh, you poor baby.
Maybe they're setting it up for the big cut after WrestleMania.
And this is just not good. It's really not good. And I can't. I'm done giving her the benefit of the doubt. She sucks. She just flat out sucks. There's nothing.
She had her chance. She went down, she trained, she came back, and she still sucks. She's done.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's nothing more to say about
she went to
that.
NXT and stayed there for a bit.
And as I was saying, that interview she had with Kathy Ellie, Jade's just an unlikable character. There's nothing redeeming about her at all. There's nothing that makes me want to invest. I mean, I'm actually on. I hate to say this, but I never thought I would say this. I'm on Naomi's side on this. I mean, Naomi was right. I'm just saying. I love her laugh. You
I think that's a gimmick laugh.
Yeah, I think it is too. Now, so, and the WWE, they've got this almost to their detriment now. They've got a lot of justifiable heels, which can make for some good stories, but you got a lot of them now. You have Kevin Owens. You have Drew McIntyre. You have
Kevin Owens shouldn't be a heel. He was right. He's right.
right. And
Drew McIntyre's not entirely wrong either.
And you've got Cena. You've got Naomi, Liv Morgan, justifiable heel. I mean, what has Rhea? Rhea has been the same character since she joined the Judgment Day. Her character has not changed at all. She is one note. And I'm getting tired of Rhea getting pushed, overly pushed again. This whole okay. This will lead to a great WrestleMania match with these three late 80s, Bianca, Io, and Rhea. It'll be a great match. These three will all put on a great match. And I'm just, oh, wow. Man, you
know what I was shocked today about though? Jade Cargill was not announced as joining Avengers Doomsday Cast as Storm.
As Storm, I know.
I figured, she's failing in the ring. I mean, she just needs to stand up there and pose. I mean, perfect action figure. There's so many people there. She doesn't need to say anything. And then you can get a fix off that.
Hang on, because I've got something for that too.
Well, you're not wrong.
And it made sense too. Okay, so like I said, I am not the. Oh, that is cute. Hold on, I have something for that too. I have something for that too. Go.
That is so cute.
Now, as I said, all of these will end up being quality WrestleMania matches. Unlike what we're about to discuss right now in the staple of this show. That's right. It is the top 5. And this week was the top 5 worst WrestleMania matches. By the way, I want to thank everyone who's been in the chat, engaging in the chat. We do have a goal here also as well, double-digit likes. So if you have not hit that like button yet, please make sure that you do. All of our links are down in the description.
I say you better subscribe or we'll bash in some skulls, right?
That's right. Like and subscribe, share. Oh, hold on. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do not even put Jordan Grace in the same sentence as Jade Cargill. Jordan Grace can actually wrestle.
Okay, so the way this works, we have our picks for these categories, and we go 1 through 5. We assign a point value here. Our legal expert here keeps track of everything, even though he bills, even though he counts in sixes. That's how he bills for his money. Our number 5 pick gets the 1 point, so on and so forth, up the ladder. So our number 1 pick gets 5 points. So by the end, we should have a definitive winner for the worst WWE WrestleMania match of all time. So normally we start with Ego, but he's at a work conference with no internet in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. I mean, catching beads must be work. I mean, how much?
Well, they still use the Napoleonic Code down there for law, so it's pretty effed up.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so we're gonna start with Brad. Brad, your 5th worst WrestleMania match of all time.
As a joke, I was just going to say end of an era because it ruined everything forever. Such a great match, and it ruined it, made it the worst ever because everything after that sucked. But I'm going at number 5, and there was a number I had to go through. I even went back and like I normally do, watch some of them. I remember watching this, and what should have been a really good match, but two guys on the way out who just didn't give a shit, and all people really cared about and cheered for was a special referee. Goldberg versus Brock at WrestleMania 20.
Ooh.
That almost made my list.
Ooh, Goldberg and Brock at WrestleMania 20.
But I delved a little deeper. I delved too deep.
Oh.
I know Matt's going back to like WrestleMania 6 or something.
Right.
Or 2.
All right. Matt, you're number 5.
Number 5. This is from WrestleMania 16. I love TNA as much as the next guy, but this was the Cat versus Terry with Val Venus.
Oh,
I saw that.
I want to say
as
this the
one
right
of
way. This match on the mid card for a TV, like Raw, or whatever, or like on a house show, I would have been fine with. Okay, it's a little TNA, rip the dresses off, wrestle around. I have no problem with that. As long as it's not overdone. I don't want to see every single women's match like that. But for what these two wrestlers are, But this is number 5. Like, this does not belong on a WrestleMania card, and because it is, it's the 5th worst WrestleMania match of all time.
Okay, my number 5. We're going to WrestleMania 28. If you blinked, you missed this match. It's Daniel Bryan and Sheamus. It was 18 seconds.
I forgot.
Just a complete waste of time. Why? So that's my number 5. All right, Brad, you're number 4.
Hey, real quick, I think we mentioned it in our backstage chat and everything. I did not include any Undertaker matches.
Correct. I didn't either.
I didn't. So I didn't know if I knew. I didn't think that would be fair.
I did.
It's okay. Just checking. Because there are a couple.
Not the one everyone would expect me to include. Okay. I did not put Undertaker Brock on this list.
Okay.
Okay. So it's not going to be.
I did not. No. I did not include Undertaker Brock on this. I hate that match. Even though it's a good match, I hate it because Undertaker's loss was storyline horrible. It was like.
I believe he was. Yes.
Yes, that is true. That's interesting to talk about Michael Cole. I'm going to go with WrestleMania 25, the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal, which is won by Santina Morello, the sister of Santino Morello. But props for being a trendsetter and recognizing the current alphabet community.
Right. There you go. Santina.
Morella.
Santina.
And he wrestled. I'm sorry. She wrestled that way for a bit.
Yes.
Santino Morella.
Yes. Matt, you're number 4.
This is from WrestleMania 23, I think. It's the Great Khali versus Kane. Not even Kane could put Khali over. And Khali is a sad case because we got him at the end of it, like well after his body had been destroyed by Indian death matches and Indian hardcore wrestling and stuff like that. Because the guy is a smart guy, he's an entrepreneur. He got a bad rep because of how bad it went over here, but he's a decent human being. And when he was younger, he was a decent wrestler, And we just got him at the shit end of when he could barely move his leg. So this is my number 4.
Okay.
Well, actually, there's one more thing. And this is even worse because in this match, they paid homage to Hogan body slamming Andre by having Kane body slam Khali in the same way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. My number 4. We're going back to last year. If you unless you like super kicks, this was the match for you. It's Jimmy and Jay Uso, 1-on-1. This match was so bad. Even the Usos, both the Usos apologized to fans saying, yeah, that match was really bad. We did not perform well. It was, I don't know if they went into this match with a plan because it was literally just super kicks. That's all it was. It was super kicks and an Uso splash.
That's like all they do.
Well, for a lot of it, but
one yeets now.
Well, but hot take, I I mean, I know Jay's getting the push. I think Jimmy is a better in-ring talent. I'm just saying. But that's my no.
Kai was, I think it was 27 or 26.
Well, I mean, Ego, it was a bad match. I mean, it could still be decent talent, but decent talent can put on a bad match. It does happen.
Yeah.
Both things can.
Well,
Things can be true. All right, Brad, you're number 3.
My number 3, we're going to go back to WrestleMania. I think it was 16. And someone who left the company like more than a decade before returned to get his vengeance after the Montreal screw job.
Oh, no.
Vince McMahon versus Bret the Hitman Hart.
Oh.
No holds match, which somehow went over 10 minutes. And this was just, first off, Bret should not be stepping in the ring after all he'd been through. I mean, I think he had the stroke at that point. He'd been knocked out basically by Goldberg, permanently concussed, basically. This was supposed to be obviously a chance to give something to the fans, like finally getting back at that bastard Vince McMahon. It just was like terrible. And like I say, I went back and watched. I had to turn it off at one point.
There's no getting back the screw job if it was real.
If it was real. I wasn't there.
All right, Brad. Thank you, Brad. And Matt, you're number 3.
From WrestleMania 11, this match has come up before. Undertaker versus King Kong Bundy. So this is I think back on a list of 5 Undertaker's 5 worst matches. I had this in there. This is during Bundy's second run with the company in the 90s or whatever. He was well past his physical capability to perform in the ring. If this match happened in the 80s somehow, which obviously it couldn't because Taker was still in high school or whatever. But like 80s Bundy could have had a good match with the Undertaker.
Yeah.
You know, 90s Bundy, and Taker tried to put him over. He legit did work to make Bundy look good in this match, but Bundy just couldn't do it anymore. When one of the side effects of being of the obese wrestler type is the heavy wear and tear on your body by the time you hit your 40s.
Right.
So it's kind of sad, but
my number 3. We're gonna go to WrestleMania 39, and I won. They had a men's tag team showcase match, which is basically just tag teams just doing a battle royal type thing. And it was actually a very cool match to watch. These were guys that just nothing to lose, just throwing bodies. So of course, because the men had one, night 2, the women had to have one. Oh dear God. It was won by Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey, which, yeah, it was boring. It was over in like less than 10 minutes, and why it lasted that long was beyond me. It's glad it was like the second match of the entire night because you easily forgot about it. All right, Brad, you're number 2.
My number 2 is going to be one I'm pretty certain I've mentioned before. This is how WrestleMania 11 ended. The match. Yeah. Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow. How could you end a WrestleMania, the showcase of showcases, with a retired football player against one of your stars? I mean, Bam Bam at the time was still a star.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess this is what you get when you book the Hartford Civic Center.
Right.
So.
Right. That a hotbed out there.
Well, let me just as someone who's been to the Hartford Civic Center when it was still there in the 80s and 90s, this is not a WrestleMania. This is not where you want a WrestleMania.
Right. All right, Matt.
Not
your
the match
number-
was terrible.
Yeah.
I think this technically is the shortest match in WrestleMania history. It's at WrestleMania 9. Yokozuna had just beaten Bret Hart, and then Hogan Bland walks in, whatever you want to call it, and like beats Yokozuna in a couple of seconds in a
30
impromptu
seconds.
match. Yeah,
30 seconds.
takes the top from Yokozuna
which-
for 3 weeks.
Which Sheamus and Daniel Bryan is shorter.
It is shorter than that.
Mhm.
Okay, so
By-
second shortest.
By a whopping 10 seconds.
But this is basically Hogan on his way out. Vince trying to get Hogan to basically using Hogan to put over Yokozuna for a few weeks, and Brett and all that in the circle of life, which Hogan was willing to do. But same thing with Hogan. When he's under contract, and he's getting his, he'll put other guys over. That
That works for me, brother.
Yeah, that being said, this is a horrible Vince McMahonism, and it just cheapened Yokozuna and Bret Hart did, and all that. So that's my number 2.
Okay. My number 2 is one of the famed celebrity matches. We're going to WrestleMania 24. It's the Big Show versus Floyd Money May.
Oh my God, I forgot
Mayweather.
about that one.
This was just the visual first off, because Floyd looked tiny next to the Big Show. Well, Floyd's not a big guy to start with. Floyd
He's
is
like our height, right?
shorter,
He's like
He-
5'8",
5'6" ish.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's short. And so you got Big Show, who's like 7 feet tall. And by all accounts, this should have been a mugging. But oh no, we're in a no holds barred match. And so Floyd eventually gets the Big Show down to one knee, takes off a glove, gets the brass knucks, and knocks out the Big Show in a wrestling match. This was abhorrent. It's okay. Well, Kai, that invite that I just sent you, it's been revoked now. So because no one should like this match. This match was awful. It was. I mean, I laughed at just like, oh my God, how more stupid can you make this match? Okay. We're at our tops here. Worst matches ever. Brad, you're number 1. Which got no crossover at all, so it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, the numbers are gonna be interesting. Maybe we'll get some crossover here because this was a 30-minute slobber knocker back in WrestleMania 27. Famous match between 2 commentators, one of which was a former wrestler. And somehow this lasted 30 minutes.
Oh my God.
30 minutes. I looked it up. What were you doing for 30 minutes? I'm trying to remember if I watched this or not, because this was 27. So that would have been in the mid 2000s. I actually don't remember if I saw this or not, but if I did, I probably would have turned it off.
This would have been like,
I mean,
this would have been like 2012.
oh God, you're right. Oh shit. Wow, you're right. No, it had to be early. It had to be earlier because we're on WrestleMania 40.
Because WrestleMania 30 would be 24 or 13.
Okay. Wow.
So
Okay.
So wait. So you said 27?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Because this is 41 this year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
27 was 2011. Yeah.
Yeah. 20.
And I do remember Michael Cole in the outfit. It was like this orange
His singlet.
Singlet out. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a singlet.
Yeah.
A singlet. I thought it was just singlet had one stripe. I thought he had two.
He had two, but yeah, okay, close enough.
But the
Funny
headgear,
enough.
Yeah,
the wrestling, the actual wrestling headgear. Was
Funny
it Stone
enough.
Cold? Yeah, Stone Cold was the referee on it. So
Colin Lawler.
wait. When was it? This was like the 7th match, I think, of the entire night. So literally, you're interrupting this entire WrestleMania for this match. And I went back and checked, and if I recall correctly, I don't think I wrote it down, but I saw this preceded Undertaker and Triple H, I think.
Yeah.
Now, funny enough story on this match, before we skip it, is the King and Cole have been having a feud for like 2 years at this point.
Right.
And the feud continued after this until about 8 months later, or whatever. The King had his heart attack, and Michael Cole went over for all time as a face with the announcing job he did when the King had his heart attack.
Yeah,
he showed the concern for the King and all that. This was
when Cole was the heel commentator, and I believe this was also during the anonymous Raw GM, the laptop.
Oh God,
yeah.
Who was he?
If you want to see something great,
GM? Was it
go watch the Michael Cole doing the calls and whatever when the King had his heart attack. It's a great work. Not a work in the sense of a wrestling work, but it's great work. Yeah,
that he did.
And like he was like legitimately upset, if I recall correctly. After
they were great friends and left. That's why their feud.
Yeah,
all the horrible match. The match was horrible, but the feud was great. You know,
like,
they knew how to really get into each other. You know.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, you're number one.
So you may notice a theme with my matches. At least 3 of them are like sad to like what could have been if there were different times or injuries or whatever. So number 1 is WrestleMania 9, Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez.
That's awful.
George Gonzalez, he was a pro basketball player from Mexico, all-star, was drafted into the NBA, hurt his leg and couldn't perform in the NBA. So the owner of the team he was being drafted for, Ted Turner, basically said, "Hey, you're a big athletic guy. Why don't you try for wrestling?" So he had to run his El Gigante in WCW, which was a decent run. He was decent El Gigante, but then he got injured again badly, like really badly, and goes and becomes like he was reasonably well built as El Gigante. When he goes to WWE after all the injuries, he was stick figure thin. So Vince puts the bodysuit on him, right? And he can't move. Taker tried to put him over, but this is another case of Vince getting one of these big guys 5 years too late. You know, like if he had grabbed him 5 years earlier before he got injuries and whatever, George was a decent athletic guy with the proper training and health. He could have been the next big guy wrestler, you know. But sad, just a sad story, you know, and it led to a horrible match.
And my sad story began at WrestleMania 27 in the main event, which is not the match I'm talking about. This is where it all started. Because as we know, The Miz headlined WrestleMania. He never shut up about it. This led to WrestleMania 28 and that main event. Once in a lifetime. And then it came to WrestleMania 29. Once in a lifetime. Again. But way worse than the first time. It's John Cena and The Rock. This was a 20-minute match that should have been over in 5. This was we talked last week about stealing moves. This was all they did for 15 minutes was use each other's moves on each other. Kick out.
Oh yeah. I remember.
It was a false finish. Cena uses the rock bottom. Kick out. Rock does the 5 knuckle shuffle, which I never understood why that phrase never got deleted, because it just means it's what it means. And you know, the STFU, and then they took out the U, which is the least offensive word of the entire thing. I'm just saying. So it went from the shut the fuck up to shut the fuck. Great.
Maybe it shut the frack up. Maybe it's during beat.
Well,
maybe.
I mean,
I don't know, but this match was just pathetic. They had both of them phoned it in. This was not a good, and this was just the cherry on top of a shit Sunday that was WrestleMania 29, which had one good match in it, the entire show. So we have a three-way tie for first, a three-way tie for second, and a three-way tie for third.
This did not work out as scientifically well as we could have seen.
Definitely not. But okay, so
Science.
okay, so of our number threes, we have Vince and Brett, the women's WrestleMania showcase, and King Kong Bundy and Taker. If we had to take one of those out, which one would we take out? I would say King Kong Bundy and Taker, because that was mentioned in another top five.
Sure.
Okay. So that leaves us with Vince and Brett, or the women's
coin,
or the women's show. Okay, so Matt, of those two, which is objectively worse?
So the one we're keeping.
Yeah, the one.
Prince and Vet. Prince and Vet. Yeah, it's Prince and Vet.
Okay, so Vince, and I would agree. Vince, and
Vet
Brett,
the Hitman Hart.
Vince and Brett at
Prince and
number three.
McMahon.
Now, of our number twos, we have Big Show and Floyd, LT and Bam Bam, Hogan and Yoko. I believe LT and Bam Bam was in another list.
Yeah,
previously.
that's fair.
So we're left with Floyd and Show versus Hogan and Yoko. Brad, which of these two,
I would go, which is objectively, I would go Hogan and Yokozuna, because it's supposed to be an actual wrestling match as opposed to Show, which was a gimmick match between a celebrity.
I agree. Hogan, Yokozuna at number two. Okay. Cena and Rock, Cole and Lawler, Taker and Giant. I believe Taker and Giant is the number one of our worst Taker matches of all time. So let's remove that out. All right, Matt, which one should we keep?
The reason I say we should discard Cole and the King, because, as I said, it has a historic place because of what happened not even a year later. Like, it's part of the story of that legend. You know, it's like, even though itself is a horrible match, it's part of what amounted to a legendary storyline because of Michael Cole's permanent all-time face turn. You know, so and the heart attack and all that. So I would discard that one.
So you would keep Cena and Rock as the worst.
I could go with that.
Okay, Brad, your thoughts?
I'm going to keep with Cole and King because there's no reason this should be on a WrestleMania at all. At least you can argue Rock and Cena are two big-time stars who deserve, despite whatever you may think of The Rock, the bottom line is he was a WWE superstar, multi-time champion, and people did want to see Rock and Cena, even though they gave a shit-ass match. There's no reason that Cole and King, in this match alone, discounting history, this match alone should be considered, should not be considered one of the worst things to put on a WrestleMania match. In 30 minutes.
Okay, I guess
30 minutes.
I guess it comes down. I guess it comes down to me then. Brad, where was the match? Where was Cole and Lawler on the match card?
If I recall from looking at it, it was the 7th match right before Undertaker and Triple H.
And there was how many matches on the card?
I believe there were 10 matches. Let me go back and check.
So this is near the end of the show?
Correct. I will verify and let you know. That was WrestleMania 27.
wow.
That was one of the things I was also checking, because if it was at the beginning, who gives a shit? But at this point, okay, yes, there were 10 matches, starting first with Daniel Bryan and Sheamus, who we already started off very poorly. Then we had Great Khali beating Sheamus. Then we had Edge and Del Rio. Cody was there. So, I don't know what the hell's going on. Randy Orton defeated Punk by pinfall. Then we had Michael Cole defeating Jerry Lawler with Stone Cold. That was, why does it say 13 minutes? I thought it went longer than that. I thought I read it went
13.
much longer than that.
No, it did not go half an hour.
Felt longer than that.
It felt like it. So this was
maybe it says they maybe it was with the entries and everything as opposed to the match.
Possible.
That was it. Okay, and then it had Taker versus Triple H, no holds barred. That was the next one. Then you had Miz and Cena at the end. We also wait. We should have included the match with Snooki. What the frick was I?
So there was only one good match in the whole card.
Yeah,
Miz and Cena.
So you know what? As bad as my match, mine was a main event, which I think ups how upsetting that match that match could have been, but it was way worse. But you put this on 7th out of 10. I mean, this is prime viewing time here.
Oh no, with the matches on that card.
I'm just saying. I'm gonna have to vote against to myself. Cole and Lawler is the worst match ever.
Yeah, there has to be like a story as to why all those horrible matches were on there. Like, did a lot of injuries happen or something?
Well, I mean, this is the 2010s. I mean, this is when Vince is just starting to lose his mind because
I think he was getting. It was the height of his powers.
Well, it's
it's in the middle of what I call the Vince stroke era, but like,
right, but this was definitely Vince had nobody to compete against, nobody, and he got comfortable. He's the only game in town, and if Paul Levesque is not careful, they're going to repeat some same mistakes. Don't get comfortable, WWE.
Stay hungry.
All righty. Speaking of staying hungry, Brad, your Duke Devils are still in the dance, hungry for another title to hang from the rafters and to hang next to Christian Leitner's jersey, right? Because he's like the favorite son of Duke. Is that?
I don't know if he's a favorite son, but he's definitely one of the greatest college basketball players ever. College only. He is an asshole.
Okay.
I can say that.
What do you have coming up, sir?
Tomorrow night will be on the weekend pregame on Static 2020 channel at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. I will be coming out with another review of Daredevil, which apparently me calling it boring has gotten me over 1,000 views and more dislikes than I normally get, because I called it boring with 5 great minutes of acting by 2 great actors. But if you say it's boring, don't even say it's DEI bullshit. Just say it's boring. That's when they hate you for some rational reason.
Wow. 1,000 likes. Props, sir. Props.
No, I got 1,000 views. I have no likes. I'm ratioed.
Oh, wow.
I have no likes.
All righty.
5 likes and
likes for money, my friend.
And again, all links down below in the description. We all have channels
also every week.
Yes. And the Matt of 1,000 answers. What do you have coming up, sir?
Nah. I didn't remember the song besides me. It's like, this is a WWE song from the 80s. Land of 1,000 Dances. Okay, so tomorrow we're on for Roman Empire, reviewing The Thing, that John Carpenter's The Thing. Posting this weekend with the questionnaires is our weekly review of Wheel of Crime. So this last episode 4 was the least worst of episode of the show. was just saying something, you know. Still an abomination. We'll have Wednesday night overbooked. I didn't restart my show, my live stream. I'm going to wait another week just because I got to get past this dental pain. And not talking irritates me. It doesn't hurt, but anyway. So that's where I kind of stand. I have no new content on my channel for a while. I'll get back there eventually.
Gotcha. As for myself, I've got my regular content 3 days a week, which will be a new video dropping Friday. As we're doing top fives here, I've been asked in my own personal life, socially and whatnot, who my favorite wrestlers are. So I came up with 2 top fives, combined them into a top 10. I'll be giving you my top 10 current WWE superstars. Like Matt said, tomorrow night over with Roman of the Empire with the John Carpenter classic, The Thing. Yes, Matt?
I just inspired a thought. If you want a variant from these top fives, we can do who is our wrestling Mount Rushmore.
We could do that and do a top 5 after that. The Rushmore has 4, but we could make it a 5. That's a thought. Okay,
yeah.
That's I'm going to think about. But yeah, you can always catch us here. And Mr. Jacob Ironson, again, man does not get enough credit. The man actually came up with the logo for Wednesday Night is Overbooked, which you can catch also in the link down there on the merch store. Definitely for that. And yes, I cannot wait for the memes, sir. Cannot wait. That is worth the price of admission, I'm telling you. But until then, for next week, on behalf of everyone here at Wednesday Night is Overbooked, we say, always have fun. Keep talking. Keep smiling. Until next time, toodles.
And here we go.
Is like gravity. All it takes is a little push.
Ah!